30 days without weed. 1 month totally sober, you guys. So in this video, I'm going to be going over what to expect, the different challenges, the different signs, different ways that you can help accomplish this goal, you guys. Me personally, I've been sober. It's the 1st of December right now, so I've been sober like a month and 2 weeks, something like that, about a month and a half. So I'm a little bit over that 30-day mark, but it was over the holidays when I hit that 30-day mark over in Thanksgiving and stuff like that. So I was just taking a break from videos. But here is everything I've learned, everything that has helped me over the past month and a half. Now, I've already made a video discussing the actual reason why I quit smoking weed, you guys. So I'm going to have that right here. If you guys want to watch the full video and get a full explanation of why I stopped smoking, that's it. But just the long story short, you guys, the cold hard truth about weed, about alcohol, about gossip, any type of addiction, you guys. People are addicted to adult media. People are addicted to caffeine. Some people are addicted to alcohol, some weed. Whatever your addiction is, you guys, the cold hard truth about it is that you just can't become the best version of yourself as long as you remain under the influence. So for me, I was the type where I would be smoking all day, every day for years and years, you guys. I'm 21, but I started smoking when I was like 16. And I really started smoking heavy once I got to college, and it just kept that way for years and years and years, guys. So for me, it's a little bit different for everybody depending on how much you smoke, what the quality of the stuff you smoke is, you know what I'm saying? It's a little bit different, and depending on how long you smoked, right? If you smoke every day for years like me, you're going to experience more withdrawal symptoms than somebody who only smokes once or twice a week. Okay, but even if you only smoke once or twice a week, you guys, once or twice a month, understand that you can't be the best version of yourself as long as you're smoking at all. As long as, even if you're smoking once or twice a week, you guys, you're still not being the best version of yourself. So that's really the number one reason that I stopped smoking weed, because I want to become the best me that I can be. I want to live the best life that I can live. And just the cold hard truth about it, guys, you can't be the best physically. So when you're smoking, you're putting stuff in your lungs, right? That affects your breath, that affects your whole body. So you can't be the best just physically when you're smoking weed. You can't be the best version of yourself mentally when you're smoking weed, right? If you smoke because of your anger or your anxiety or whatever reason, whatever mental gymnastics that addiction will have you jumping through to justify it, right? Whatever the reason you smoke weed, so you don't get angry or so you don't feel stressed, you're never going to be the best version of yourself mentally until you can actually handle your own problems. If you're running to a plant, if you're running to a substance, if you're running to another person, if you're running to social media for all your problems, right? Anything you're angry about, anything you're anxious about, you're never going to actually develop the mental strength to overcome those type of emotions. So you're not going to be the best version of yourself physically. You're not going to be the best version of yourself mentally, emotionally. Okay, you're not going to be the best version of yourself socially. Okay, you're a different person when you're under the influence compared to when you're sober. So the friends that you have when you're smoking, they're not necessarily going to be the friends that you have when you're sober. The people that you like to hang around, the people that like to hang around you, maybe especially for smokers, people that smoke weed in particular, especially if you have friends that you just go and smoke with, and it's like just a big smoke session basically, those people aren't really your friends. Might I suggest to you that they don't really care about you and you don't really care about them. It's just a place that y'all go to smoke together. Because at the end of the day, if something really happened to you, if something really happened in your life, would those people be there to help you, or would they still be smoking? Just something to think about, you guys. So you're not the best mentally, physically, socially. You can't be the best version of yourself financially. So even if you're only spending couple $100 a month on weed, that's still money that you could have saved. That's money that you could have invested in yourself or invested in a business, right? So that adds up over the course of a year. Even if you're only spending hardly any money on weed, that's still money that you could have saved. That's money that you could have donated or tithed. That's money that you could have invested in yourself, invested in your business, right? So you can't be the best version of yourself financially. And then most importantly, and I'm going to be talking about this later on in the video as well, you can't be the best version of yourself spiritually when you're smoking, right? And the spirit affects everything else in your whole life. If you're not okay spiritually, you're not going to be okay mentally, physically, emotionally, socially, financially, all of that. And you can have all the money in the world, you can have a great body, you can have a good mindset, whatever, but if your spirit is rotten, none of that other stuff matters. So your spirit is the most important thing in life, guys. And so quitting for a month, I would recommend you guys try to quit for 90 days. But in just the first month, the first 30 days, here are things that you can expect. Here's the withdrawal symptoms and how I personally overcame them. Maybe it'll help you overcome them, but everybody's different. Okay, so what I felt may not be what you felt. What helped me may not be what helped you, right? But this is just me sharing my story. So especially the first couple days, the first couple nights, even that first week is really the hardest part. That second week is still pretty hard, but for me, once you make it past 14 days, it's pretty smooth sailing. It's pretty smooth sailing, you guys. But especially in those first couple days, the first couple nights, it's gonna be hard to sleep. You're gonna have insomnia. Okay, when you do fall asleep, I had really bad night sweats, like crazy. I used to have to wear long sleeve pajamas, pants at night, because like I'm the type of person, I shower at night so I go to bed clean, right? So I would shower at night, go to bed clean, but then I would wake up in the morning just totally drenched in sweat, and just I'd have to shower in the morning too as soon as I woke up. And I don't mean just night sweats like, oh, you're a little sweaty. Like, I mean night sweats where like I'm waking up and I'm wringing my clothes out. Like that's the type of night sweats I'm talking. And that's because I smoked heavy for years and years and years, right? So the sweating, it's your body's way of naturally excreting some of these toxins, some of that weed, right? So the sleep is a big factor, especially in those first couple days. It's gonna be hard to fall asleep. When you do fall asleep, maybe you'll have night sweats. I had night sweats really bad for like the first 2 weeks. It takes a long time to clear your body of all this stuff, right? And what helped me a lot, if you're struggling with sleeping, if you're struggling with insomnia, if you're struggling with night sweats when you try to quit, exercise. Exercise heavily during the day, okay? If you guys need like a full body sobriety workout, I can make a video on that, some of the stuff that I did. But when I mean exercise, it's good to sweat it out during the day so that you don't have to sweat it out during night. You feel what I'm saying? And the exercise, if you really go heavy, I'm not talking about just walking a mile. I mean go sprint a mile. Then get your breath back and then go sprint it back the other way. I'm not talking about just doing, 10 push-ups, 50 push-ups. I'm talking about doing push-ups till failure, till you can't do it anymore. If you go to the gym, I'm not talking about these bench press, you're just herky jerking. No, I mean real slow, controlled, right? The heavy intensity exercise, that's going to help you tire yourself out. It's going to help you sweat all that stuff out, but it's also going to help you just feel tired to fall asleep at night. And it's good for you. Like I said, you're not going to be the best version of yourself physically while you're smoking, while you're drinking, while you're under the influence of this other stuff, right? But use being sober, use that sobriety, because you're going to feel way more energy. You're going to feel way more like, for me, smoking weed made it okay to be bored. Like it made being bored something fun. Like you could just stare at the wall or just watch cartoons for hours and it would be entertaining, right? That's what weed does. It makes it okay to be bored. But when you're sober, all that time and that energy that you spent wasting being high, it has to go somewhere. It has to go somewhere, right? So channel that into exercise. Channel that into your business, into your dreams. If you wanted to start a channel yourself, start making videos. If you wanted to get your license in real estate or something, go start studying. Whatever you're trying to do in life, whatever your actual dreams and your goals are, Start using some of that energy and some of that newfound motivation that you'll have when sober. Start using that to build that instead of just being bored. Okay, and another thing about sleep is dreams. So me personally, I was never the type of person to remember my dreams, to even feel like I was having dreams my whole life. Even when I was like a kid, I would dream like once or twice a year, something like that. That's how I remember it. It feels like to me, you just close your eyes, go to sleep, and then the next time you open is morning. There was nothing in between. It's just like a teleport damn near. And so once I stopped smoking, that's when I started having way more dreams. I be dreaming almost every night now, vividly. And the thing about dreams, you guys, is the dreams is sort of like the mind's version of exercise, if that makes sense. So your mind has a bunch of different processes, a bunch of different things that the brain does to heal itself, to make itself stronger, to work itself out, right? If you don't use your brain, you're going to lose your brain. And so when you're smoking weed, especially if you're smoking or drinking, especially, it makes it easier to fall asleep at night. Like, it's easy to fall asleep and feel tired when you're high, or when you're drunk. It's easy to pass out and just go to sleep. But that sleep that you experience, it isn't good quality sleep. That's why you don't dream, because dreaming is REM sleep, or rapid eye movement sleep, right? And that's actually the most quality sleep. That's the most intense exercise that your brain needs. Okay, so when you're dreaming and having REM sleep, you could, let's say you have insomnia like me, especially the first couple nights, you might not fall asleep till 3 o'clock in the morning and you wake back up at 7. But those 4 hours of sleep, if you got REM sleep, those 4 hours of sleep will give your brain more rest. It'll feel like you have more energy and you'll feel more invigorated than if you smoked or drank and you slept 10 hours. Because smoking or drinking 10 hours is sort of like what I just said about the exercise. If you're bench pressing at the gym and you're just herky-jerky and you're not even really doing nothing, you know what I'm saying? It's not really working out the muscles that you need. If you're really just slow and controlled, squeezing at the top, holding it back, doing it slow, that's how you really build muscle. That's how you really build muscle and get stronger, right? It's the same thing with your brain. It's the same thing with your brain, you guys. It needs REM sleep. It needs meditation and stuff like that, you guys. It needs certain things to get stronger. And weed, alcohol, adult media, caffeine, whatever your addiction is, none of that actually helps your brain get stronger, you guys. So big thing on sleep. Another thing that you're going to notice in the first 30 days of quitting is the emotional regulation, the emotional problems that are going to come up. So for me, I was the type of person where when I don't smoke, I'm irritable. I'm angry. Like, fucking, I could drop my pen on the floor. Like, fuck, you know what I'm saying? Shit like that, just ready to blow up, ready to pop off. Some people are more irritable. Some people are more anxious, right? Some people smoke weed so that they can turn their brain off and don't have to worry about certain things. Some people smoke weed just so that they don't feel so stressed out and so angry all the time, right? But once you stop smoking weed, this is the mental strength part of it, the emotional strength part of it. Things are still going to make you angry. Things are still going to make you anxious. Things are still going to stress you out. But being sober, now you give your brain the strength. You give yourself the ability to overcome these emotions. You give yourself the ability to calm down. You give yourself the ability and the opportunity to stop worrying. Does that make sense, you guys? Like, if you're turning to something, any substance, if you're turning to a substance to deal with your emotions, that's not you actually learning how to deal with your emotions, you guys. And so once you're sober, you're still going to be emotional. Especially the first 14 days, 2 or 3 weeks, it's going to be even heightened because your brain, you're so used to having the weed to deal with the anger. You're so used to being high when you feel anxious. You're so used to having the substance to deal with the pain that when the pain hits you sober, it's going to hit you even harder because you're used to having that high dampener on it, right? So that's something that I need you guys to understand about being sober is there's still pain in life. There's still problems in life. You're still going to get angry. You're still going to be anxious sometimes. You're still going to get stressed out. But the cool thing about being sober is that you become strong enough to overcome it. If something makes you angry, you get strong enough to just calm down and let it go. You don't have to turn to a substance. Okay, so the life is always going to throw different problems at you. Life is always going to give you different things that are painful and different experiences like that, right? But being sober is how you truly learn how to grow from that, and not just let the pain just sit inside of you, but how to learn actually how to let go, how to get better, how to move on. Okay, and moving on from weed is a big first step. Moving on from alcohol, whatever you're addicted to, that's a big first step, you guys. And another thing that you're going to notice within the first 30 days of quitting is how it affects you socially. So like I said in the beginning of the video, there are friends that you have who aren't really your friends, but they're people that you just go smoke with. They're people that you just go drink with, right? And so when you're sober, not only are certain people not going to want to be around you, but you're not going to want to be around certain people, right? Like, now that I'm sober, I don't want to go chill. And even though I'm not smoking, I don't want to go be with some of my friends who just smoke all the time. Now that if you stop drinking, you don't want to go to the bar and hang out with everybody after work. You know what I'm saying? So not only that, they don't want to see you being sober either. That's the real kicker. Being sober, it'll show you who a lot of your true friends are, right? Because in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with being sober. Like, now that I've done it for over a month and a half, there's nothing wrong about it. There's nothing like it's a good thing. It's a good thing when somebody puts down weed, puts down alcohol, puts down cigarettes, puts down caffeine or sugar, or puts down gossip. A lot of people are addicted to attention, you guys. People are addicted to gossip and social media. It's a good thing when somebody puts down the stuff that's troubling them, the stuff that they're struggling with. That's a good thing. That makes them stronger and it helps them grow. Right? So when people see you start doing good for yourself, they don't want to see that. And so that can help you really identify who your true friends are. If you stop drinking, you stop smoking, then all your friends are, oh, blah, blah, blah. Oh, he thinks he's better than us. Oh, we don't want to rock with you no more. Oh, my God, I can't believe he's doing that. Blah, blah, blah. Really, I would even say this. They're not even really mad at you for going sober. They're mad at themselves for not going sober, and they're projecting that onto you. So that can really show you who your true friends are, who your real social circle is, who really believes in you and your family, who's your real family that you know really actually care about you. The people that see you going sober and they're proud of you. They celebrate it. Maybe you going sober inspires somebody else to go sober. That's the real people who care about you. Those are your real friends, your real family, and those are the people that really matter in life, not the people who want to see you stagnant, the people who want to hold you back. And like I said, I would really suggest that the people who do want to see you stagnant, it's just because misery loves company, right? It's not even so much that they hate on you, they don't want you to be successful. It's that they don't want you to be more successful than they are. And so being sober is a great way to start being more successful than other people, because you're becoming a better version of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, socially, all of that, right? And so here it brings me into the spiritual part of quitting weed. When I've been sober for this past month and a half, my spirit has increased so much more. Like, I'm very spiritual. I'm not religious, even though I am Christian. I do go to church, you guys, but I'm more spiritual than anything. I believe in the Holy Spirit. I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ and the one true and living God that's in heaven. And so what helps me personally, what helps me the most, and I can make a full video on this if you guys want, and go down to the comments and I can make a full video on this topic. But fasting, prayer and fasting helped me more in my sobriety journey than anything else. So, like, part of the reason I went sober was because I was about to get baptized. I just got baptized earlier this year. And so, like, a week before I got baptized, I was still smoking. And I was just like, man, I can't do this. I can't keep living this way and then say I'm going to give my life to Christ, right? And so about a week before I got baptized, I decided to stop smoking. So I didn't smoke for that whole 7 days before getting baptized. And so that I got baptized on Wednesday. So that Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and into that Wednesday, I went on a 3-day water fast. And that's the only time in my whole life I've ever done just an actual water fast. I've fasted before, like just for a day, no food, no water. I've done that before back when I was still smoking. It's crazy to think, right? You still smoking, but you fasting, right? But that was the first time in my life I ever did a true fast. And I'm telling y'all from personal experience, and I can make a full video on fasting. Those 3 days where I fasted, I didn't drink no coffee, no tea, nothing, just water. I didn't eat no food. The only thing that touched my mouth, pause, but the only thing that went into my mouth was water and toothpaste when I brush my teeth. That's it. No food, no snacks, no candy, no tea or coffee, none of that. No little juice, none of that, you guys. It was just pure water for 3 days. And during that 3 days, I prayed so hard. I studied the word so hard. And one of the things that I asked God to do was deliver me from my addiction. And so I've done different like tolerance breaks before. I've quit, for a week before. I've quit for 21 days before. But I always relapsed. I always fell back into smoking. It was almost like, oh, I'm 3 weeks sober. Now it's time to reward myself with more weed, right? But understand, you guys, there's a reason that you want to quit smoking in the first place. There's a reason that you want to go sober in the first place, you guys. And smoking is not a reward. It's not a celebration. Drinking is not a reward. It's not a celebration, okay? But I've done different tolerance breaks, stuff like that before, but I would always relapse and fall back into my old ways. During that 3-day water fast, I'm telling y'all, ever since then, I have not even craved weed at all. No cravings. Haven't even been tempted by it. I can look at, like, I still have my bong and stuff in there. I look at it and I don't feel nothing towards it, right? Like, me and my girl, we just went on vacation over the holidays, over Thanksgiving holidays. And so she had packed, we used to have different like pens and stuff we would take on vacation, right? So she had left one of those old pens in the backpack. And so we were unloading, we were unpacking once we got to the resort, and we're unpacking and we see that pen. It wasn't even a thought in my mind to go smoke it. We just threw it away. Like stuff like that, guys, that's the stuff that really makes you spiritually stronger when you're fasting and you're praying. Like I can't emphasize that enough, you guys. If you're struggling with addiction, if you're struggling with anything in life, if you're struggling with your finances, if you're struggling with your relationships, if you're struggling with unforgiveness in your heart, if you're struggling with anything, I highly, highly, highly recommend prayer and fasting. Fasting is so important. It makes such a big difference. And the reason it does is because you're putting your spirit over your flesh. Like the flesh is very powerful. The lust of the flesh is very powerful, you guys. But the spirit is so much stronger. The spirit is so much stronger. So your flesh, maybe it does crave that weed. Maybe your flesh craves that drink, or it craves that adult media content, right? It craves that lust. But your spirit is the one that's truly in control. Your flesh craves food. Like your flesh has to eat or it'll die, right? But your spirit is so strong that even stuff that you need, like food, you do need food, you guys, but you can fast for 40 days before you actually begin to starve. And that's real talk, you guys, that you can go a week without food. That's just the cold hard truth. You can go 2 weeks without food. God forbid, you end up on a deserted island, like the plane crash and you're on a deserted island. Eventually, you might starve to death, but it ain't going to be after 3 days. It ain't going to be after 7 days, 2 weeks, a month. It's going to take a long time, right? So, like, your body, your flesh, it does need food, but it doesn't need food as bad as it thinks it does, right? And so fasting is a really easy way for your spirit to regain that control, for your spirit to let everybody know who's really in charge, right? It puts that flesh in check. So I highly recommend fasting. And part of fasting that a lot of people don't understand, this is the last part of the video, A lot of people think fasting is just not eating. So like I said, I went 3 days without eating, but the real purpose of fasting is that the time that you would have spent eating, the time that you would have spent cooking, or the times that you would have spent looking up a recipe, or the times you would have spent at a restaurant with friends, the time that you would have spent doing anything with food, that's time that you instead spend with the Holy Spirit and with God. So that's the importance of prayer and fasting. Instead of eating, you're sitting down, you're going to spend your lunch break. You have an hour for lunch. If you're working, you have an hour lunch break on your fast. Instead of going to go eat for that hour, go read the Bible for that hour. Go pray for an hour. Go study the word for an hour. Go do something like that for your spirit for that hour that you would have spent on lunch. Go read the Bible. Go pray. Do something like that, you guys. You have to. Fasting isn't just not eating. It's replacing the time that you would have spent eating with prayer, with study of the word, stuff like that, guys. So highly recommend fasting. I can't recommend it enough. And if you guys want a full video on fasting, go down to the comments and I could do that for y'all. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else within the first 30 days that really stood out to me. And I think I really covered most of it. Maybe I'll make a part 2 to this video, like 90 days, what to expect, 2 months, what to expect, a year sober, eventually what to expect. But like I said, you guys, just the cold hard truth about smoking weed is that you can't be the best version of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, socially, financially, spiritually, none of it. You can't be the best version of yourself. You can maybe get by. You can maybe survive, you know what I'm saying? But you can't be the best that you can be. Ooh, this is important. The thing that I was going to mention about dreams as well. This is the last thing I'm going to close on. The scary thing about weed, you guys, is it not only takes your dreams at night when you're asleep, but it takes your dreams away during the day when you're awake. So like I said earlier when I was talking about that, like that energy that you have once you're sober, you need to apply that towards your dreams, apply that towards your goal. Like if you want to open a business, if you want to start a channel, if you want to, if you want to buy a new house or or whatever you want to accomplish in life, you guys, weed takes that away from you. Like I said, weed makes it okay to be bored. So I'm 21. If I was to keep smoking until I'm 40, that's 20 years from 20 to 40 that I wasn't really going all out for my dreams, that I wasn't really going all out for my purpose and what I'm supposed to do on this earth, right? So that's the scary part about weed. Weed, in my opinion, is the new tobacco. It is the new cigarettes, right? And I was the type of person where I would smoke weed with the nicotine. I would pack monkey bowls where that's a little bit of tobacco, a little bit of weed. Or when I smoked, I didn't like to smoke papers. I didn't like to smoke a joint. I know what I'm saying? I want to smoke a blunt. I want to smoke something that gives me that nicotine buzz with the weed high, right? That's how I was. And a lot of people would complain, oh, can't believe you're smoking nicotine. Well, tobacco is a natural plant just like weed. Nicotine is a natural chemical just like THC, but just because something is natural doesn't mean that it's actually good for you, okay? And like people would say, just because tobacco is a natural plant, weed is still better for you. Like, I'll give you that, smoking weed is not as damaging to your lungs as smoking cigarettes. But let me put it like this, right? If you got shot by a 9mm bullet, that's not as bad as getting hit by a 12-gauge shotgun slug, but do you want to get shot, period? Stuff like that. Like, it goes back to what I said, like, even if you're smoking once or twice a week, if you don't smoke all the time, but you just smoke some of the time, you're still not being the best version of yourself. So a good analogy, like if I beat my wife, if I beat her sometimes, but not all the time, I'm still not being a good husband. I'm still not being a good father if I beat my kids sometime, but not all the time. So it's the same concept, right? And so the scary thing about weed is that it robs you of your dreams. It robs you of your energy to go accomplish what you really want to accomplish. It makes you okay just sitting there doing nothing, just being bored. And there's people who, this is a very common excuse, a very common mental hoop people will jump through. Oh, I'm smoking, but I'm still working. I'm still working out. I'm still, surviving while I'm smoking. Like I said, guys, you can survive if you're still smoking. You can survive. You can still work a job. You know what I'm saying? You can still pay your bills and work out and do all this other stuff. But you can survive, but you can't thrive. Okay? If you're under the influence, if you're addicted to anything, you can't thrive to the best of your ability. Even somebody like, I'll take a Snoop Dogg or a Wiz Khalifa, for example, a rapper who is famous, for the amount that they smoke, right? I guarantee you, if Snoop Dogg went sober, if Wiz Khalifa went sober, they would make better music. They will make better business deals, better endorsements, better marketing. We all seen what Snoop Dogg did with that marketing, which that actually was a pretty genius marketing ploy. I'll give him that. But if he was sober, I guarantee you he could come up with something even better. If Wiz Khalifa was sober, I guarantee you he could make songs even better. He could write even more impactful raps. And so whatever, if you're smoking and you're still working out, I guarantee you, if you go sober, you can push yourself even harder. You can push yourself even harder physically. You can push yourself even harder mentally, even harder spiritually. All of it, you guys. So being sober is really how you get stronger. Okay? Succumbing to addiction is really how you stay weaker. So that's the last thing that I'm going to end on. Make sure you guys like this video. Make sure y'all subscribe. Turn on post notifications. Go down to the comment section, y'all. Tell me, what was your favorite part? What's something, if you're on your sobriety journey, what's something that you experienced? What's something that you noticed? Try to help somebody else, right? This is something that I make these videos not just for me, but for somebody who is struggling. For somebody who wants to go 30 days sober, who wants to go 90 days sober, who wants to just quit entirely. I make these videos for the people that need to hear these types of messages. So I pray to God that whoever has ears to hear, let them hear. And whoever has eyes to see, let them see. And in Lord Jesus Christ's name I pray. Amen. And that's all for this video. Hope everybody has a blessed rest of y'all day. Peace.